Why do the foolish things people say or do still get under your skin? You remind yourself it's not worth it. But your chest tightens, your jaw locks, and anger surges once more. It's not some grand betrayal, but the little irritants, a sarcastic tone, a careless shrug, a thoughtless comment that shatters your moment of grief. You didn't ask for this argument, but now your peace is gone, stolen by someone who probably doesn't even realize what they've done. Let's be clear, their ignorance isn't your burden to carry. Yet when you react, they gain control over you. Not because they're powerful, but because you've handed them the reins. It's time to end this cycle. You've come here because you want to stop getting angry over things that don't matter. You seek control not over the world, but over how you respond to it. That's true power. That's clarity. That's freedom. The ancient philosophers believed no one could harm you without your permission. Today, we'll apply that wisdom to modern life. You'll learn to keep your mind steady, even when the world acts foolishly. You'll discover how to respond like a man in command, not dragged along by every petty annoyance. You're not alone in this. Every strong man wrestles with it. If you're tired of losing to trivial matters, this is your moment to rise. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their calm. Let's begin. First, recognize the pattern before it overtakes you. You don't explode just from one foolish remark. You erupt because it's the 50th one you've ignored, without noticing the build-up. That's the trap most men fall into. You humans think you're reacting in the moment, but really, you've been carrying an invisible load for weeks. The inner noise at work, feeling undervalued at home, a delayed flight, a careless comment. You brush it off time after time, until one more foolish thing pushes you over the edge. Boom, you break. But the truth is, anger doesn't appear out of nowhere. It follows a pattern, and you've missed the signs. So, awareness is your first line of defense. Anger isn't random. It's rehearsed. You've practiced it daily by letting small things slide without addressing them. And when you react, it's not strength, it's overflow. You're not in control. You're leaking. And every time you blow up over something unworthy, you reinforce that loop. Stress, silence, pressure, explosion, guilt. This vicious cycle will continue until you name it, track it, and break it. Imagine your mind as a dam. When you ignore the small cracks, pressure builds beneath. You don't see the fissures, but they're there. Then one day, a feather touches the wall, and the dam bursts. It's not the feather's fault. The real fault lies in the cracks you never inspected. So, how do you stop getting angry over foolish things? Start here. Identify the triggers that make you lose control. Track your habits like a strategist. When are you most impatient? In traffic, during meetings, mornings with the kids, or that particular tone from your wife. Note it down. Don't assume you'll remember. You won't. Self-awareness isn't passive, it's tactical. That's the difference between the reactor and the leader. But here's the mistake many make. They say, "I'm hot-tempered," as if it's an unchangeable trait. That's an excuse, not your identity. Anger doesn't define you. It's a habit you've allowed to repeat. And the Stoic philosophers had a word for this slavery, not to others, but to your own impulses. A man who can't hold his tongue when provoked is ruled. That's not power, it's weakness hidden behind noise. So, turn the tide. Instead of trying to control the outside world, start observing your inner responses. Pay attention to the moment your body shifts. Shoulders tense. Breath quickens. Jaw tightens. Those are signals. Breathe deeply. Step back. Don't let the trigger pull you. You're not a puppet. You're the builder. And every time you interrupt that cycle, even once, you're laying the first brick of emotional mastery. Want to stop raging over nonsense? Don't let foolishness catch you off guard. Anticipate it and prepare. Spot it, and when it arrives, don't fear it. Smile, because now you're in charge, not the emotions, not the trivialities, just you. Steady, resolute, unshakable. Track those triggers. Don't give away your power. Second, understand what you're truly angry about. It's not the spilled coffee, not the slow driver, not your colleague's tone. The spark isn't what's in front of you, it's what's been brewing inside. Most men miss this because we're wired to react, not reflect. When you erupt over something small, it's not about that. It's what it represents. Disrespect, loss of control, buried stress, unmet expectations. That's the real battle. The storm beneath the surface. Anger is rarely honest. It shows up with the wrong label, blaming whoever's nearby. But deep down, it's often shame disguised as rage, or fear masked as frustration. You're not yelling at the broken remote. You're yelling because your day feels out of control. Your patience is on its last thread, and life seems to be slipping through your fingers. You're not snapping at your wife just because she forgot to buy something. You're snapping because work is devouring you, and no one sees the weight you're carrying. That's what the Stoics grasped. Emotions aren't the enemy, but they lie when unchecked. Pause and ask yourself, what am I really mad about right now? Is it this moment, or everything that's piled up before? Most men confuse anger with strength, thinking a loud roar is authority. It's not. True authority is naming the truth beneath the noise. It's recognizing that what you call foolishness in others is really your own disappointment. The Stoics believed if you don't master your emotions, they'll master you, and they won't even be truthful. You'll go around growling at the world, thinking you're tough, but you're just reactive. Think of it like pressure in a boiler. If you don't release it, the slightest touch can cause an explosion. That's what happens in your daily life. You bottle everything up. The disrespect from your boss, the sense of failure as a provider, the exhaustion of always being the strong one. Then a trivial thing lights the fuse. You explode and later feel foolish. But it's not foolish. It's predictable because you never addressed the root. Don't blame the spark. Fix the fuel source. That means journaling what truly bothers you, not what you pretend does. It's tracking your stress levels instead of hiding them with sarcasm or outbursts. And it means choosing clarity over hasty reactions. You're not weak for feeling overwhelmed. Weakness is letting emotions dictate actions without questioning them. Be the man who probes his own mind, not the one who blindly rages. Next time you feel the fire rising inside, don't extinguish it. Trace its true origin. Because when you name the real cause, you reclaim control. Then, anger stops being a prison and becomes a message. Don't just feel it, decode it, and move forward on your terms. 3. Don't personalize everything. 80% of what hurts you was never intended that way. Your boss's email, he's buried in deadlines. Your wife's silence, she's dealing with something deeper. The driver who cut you off, he didn't even see you. Most insults you feel are echoes of your own expectations. When you make everything about you, you lose your peace easily. That's not strength. It's emotional slavery. Anger arises when you tie your self-worth to every word, tone, or glance. It's like walking around with open wounds and blaming the world for bumping into you. But the man who masters himself doesn't need every gesture to be gentle. He doesn't crumble because someone skipped a good morning. He doesn't rage over a raised voice. He knows who he is. And that's enough. The Stoics called this power apatheia, not indifference, but self-mastery. The strength to remain unmoved by things beyond your control. Not coldness, but command. This is where most men go wrong. They treat every minor slight as a personal assault. Their ego is so fragile it shudders at shadows. A complaint at work, and they spiral. A small misunderstanding at home, and they erupt. But your emotions don't have to be at the mercy of every word others utter. Let them speak. Let them act. You're not here to react. You're here to lead yourself first. Imagine a rock in a raging river. Water crashes against it all day. But the rock stands firm. It doesn't take it personally. That's who you become when you stop interpreting everything through a lens of defense. That's who you become when you realize most people are just projecting their own pain, not targeting you. It's not about you. It never was. Now, apply this. Next time someone snaps at you, don't snap back. Breathe. Observe. Ask what this is really about. And does it have anything to do with me? Most times, no. Journal those moments if needed. You'll see a pattern. Once you do, you're no longer a victim of invisible battles that aren't yours. Mastery isn't silence. It's knowing when silence is power. It's choosing not to counter every punch thrown your way. And when you stop reacting to every jab, you start responding with presence. That's the shift from being emotion-driven to wisdom-guided. Don't take everything to heart. That's how boys live. Men know what to absorb and what to let go. Practice daily. When someone speaks down to you, pause. When a stranger is rude, smile. Not because you're weak, but because you're unbreakable. Because you know your worth. Don't let the noise rule your mind. Don't let hurt steal your day. Don't personalize it all. Own how you respond. That's where real strength begins. 4. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 days? Your brain amplifies minor troubles when stressed. A colleague's unanswered email, someone cutting you off in traffic, your wife's offhand remark at dinner. Suddenly, small issues feel like war. Your mind spins stories, fuels emotions, and before you know it, you're reacting like a spark on dry tinder. But here's the truth. Most men miss. Most of what sets you off today won't matter by next week. That irritation, that perceived slight, it's fleeting. Yet you let it hijack your peace because your mind treats it like a crisis. Ask, will this moment define my life in 5 days? 5 months rarely. This question is a filter. It cuts through the noise and anchors you to what's real. The Stoics used this approach to stay grounded. They knew the mind exaggerates under pressure, turning pebbles into mountains. You're not fighting the world's chaos. You're fighting your own perception of it. When you pause to ask this question, you give yourself space to choose. You stop being a slave to the moment's heat. Think of it like a battlefield. Every irritation is a skirmish. But not every skirmish is worth your blood. Most men exhaust themselves fighting shadows, petty slights, careless words, momentary frustrations. But the disciplined man picks his battles. He knows his energy is finite, his focus sacred. He doesn't waste it on what fades by sundown. Next time you feel your blood boil over something trivial, pause. Ask, will this matter in 5 days? If not, let it pass. Don't argue with the fool. Don't wrestle with the insignificant. Save your strength for what shapes your life. This isn't avoidance, it's strategy. It's choosing where to invest your soul's currency. Practice this daily. Journal the moments that spark your anger. Note how many vanish from importance within days. You'll see the pattern. Most of what angers you is noise, not signal. By asking this question, you train your mind to focus on what endures, not what irritates. That's how you build a life of purpose over reaction. 5. Embrace the pause. The space between trigger and response is where your power lies. Most men react instantly. Snap, shout, clench fists because they've never trained the gap. But that split second is your fortress. It's where you decide who you are, the man who erupts or the man who commands himself. The Stoics called this the discipline of assent. You don't have to agree with every impulse that rises. You're not obligated to act on every feeling. When someone's idiocy sparks your anger, that's just a signal, not a command. Pause. Let the impulse pass through you like a wave. Then decide how to act, not react. This isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about owning it. Picture a general on the battlefield. He doesn't charge at every taunt. He assesses, weighs, strikes with precision. That's you, in the face of life's provocations. The pause is your weapon. It's the difference between being driven by anger and directing your energy with intent. Train this deliberately. When the next annoyance hits your kid's tantrum, a co-worker's jab, a stranger's rudeness, stop. Breathe for 3 seconds. Feel the urge to lash out, but don't obey it. Let it sit. Then choose your response like a man who knows his worth, not a boy chasing every slight. That's where your strength is forged. Every pause is a rep in the gym of your character. It builds the muscle of self-control. Over time, that space between trigger and response grows wider, stronger. You're no longer a man at the mercy of the world's chaos. You're the man who shapes his own peace. 1 deliberate choice at a time. Most men never discover this power because they fear the pause makes them weak. They think reacting fast proves strength. But the opposite is true. The man who can wait, who can hold his ground while emotions roar, is the one who commands respect. He's not swayed by the moment's noise. He's anchored by his own will. Start small. Next time you feel the heat rising, maybe in a tense meeting or a frustrating moment at home, count to 3. Don't speak. Don't move. Just breathe. Notice how the urge to explode loses its grip. You're not suppressing, you're choosing. That choice is what separates the reactive from the resolute. There's nothing soft about pausing. In fact, it takes more strength to hold back than to explode. Yelling is easy. Staying composed when every part of you wants to react is hard. That's the moment that builds you. Every time you pause, you forge discipline. You sharpen resolve. You reclaim control. So, build the habit of pausing. Make it your natural reflex. Next time anger rises, don't act. Don't speak. Don't rush to respond. Own the moment. Train the reflex to wait. Then, and only then, act with clear intent. That's how you stop fuming over trifles. That's how you lead yourself. 6. Set boundaries to prevent disappointment. You're not angry because others are unreasonable. You're angry because your boundaries are too vague. When you let people wander into your emotional space unchecked, don't be surprised when they wreck it. Think about your time, energy, attention. How much is wasted because you haven't defined your limits clearly? We expect others to intuitively know what's acceptable, but clarity isn't their job, it's yours. Men without defined standards often react instead of lead. Boundaries aren't walls to keep others out. They're filters to keep your mind steady. A man without boundaries is like a warrior without armor. He feels every blow, takes every hit, and eventually falls. You agree to jobs you hate. Endure conversations that drain you. Tolerate behaviors that hurt you. Then wonder why you snap at the smallest things. That anger isn't random. It's the accumulation of every little thing you permitted out of fear of seeming rigid or selfish. But remember, passivity doesn't make you kinder. It just makes you more resentful. And no one respects a man who rages beneath a smiling mask. The Stoics knew this. They didn't control others. They mastered their own limits. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste time pleasing fools. Epictetus didn't beg for approval. They knew where they ended and the world began. That's power. And that power starts when you say, "This is what I accept. This is what I don't." No drama. No arguments. Just discipline. Look closer at reality. Colleagues dump last-minute tasks on you because you've never said no. Your friend makes snide remarks at dinner, and you laugh it off instead of addressing it directly. Clients call at 1:00 p.m. and you answer because you fear losing the deal more than losing yourself. That's not strength. It's surrender. And each time you endure, you lose a piece of your peace. Setting boundaries isn't rude. It's honest. You teach others how to treat you by what you tolerate. You don't need fights or shouts. You need consistency. I don't take calls after 6. Don't speak to me that way. That's not my responsibility. Short, clear, firm. Because every boundary you set is a line you draw in the sand. And every line defended builds your emotional discipline. Don't blame others for crossing lines you never drew. Don't expect foolish behavior to stop on its own. Expect yourself to stop tolerating it. Disappointment fades when clarity emerges. If something keeps angering you, don't just vent. Boundary it. Resentment is a signal. Use it. Track it. Then create your rules. Your sanity is built on your standards. Peace isn't others' responsibility. It's your boundaries. So draw the lines and stand firm. 7. Use humor as a pressure release valve. When you can laugh at foolishness, you've already won. Not because the situation changed, but because you have. Anger shrinks when laughter enters. You're not avoiding the issue, you're diffusing it. Most men navigate life like ticking time bombs. One foolish comment, one absurd email, one reckless driver can set them off. But humor isn't weakness. It's a sharp tool for emotional control. Let's be clear, you're not laughing because it's fine. You laugh because you've decided your peace matters more than the absurdity. That's power. The Stoics understood this well. They didn't bother changing the circus. They just refused to be the clowns in it. The modern man, especially one shouldering work, family, and expectations, can't afford to lose his cool over the unworthy. Nothing cuts through tension like a well-placed chuckle or a quiet headshake. Think back to the last time someone's ridiculous words made your blood boil. Now picture watching it like a comedy scene, absurd, almost laughable. That shift in perspective strips the moment of its power over you. It's not denial, it's mastery. You don't waste energy reacting. You don't take the bait. You stay clear-headed, focused, and calm. There's a reason elite performers, athletes, soldiers, surgeons use humor under pressure. It's not escape, it's survival. It clears the fog, keeps you human, and holds chaos at bay. You don't need loud jokes, just a subtle shift, a silent smile, a mental note. This guy's kidding. Right, that's not passivity, it's command. Avoid sarcasm, it's just anger in disguise. True humor is strategic detachment, a choice to rise above. You're not triggered, you're trained. You nod, breathe, maybe grin faintly, and move on. That's the warrior's way. Warriors don't rage at every obstacle. They step over and keep marching. In a world primed to explode, restraint is your edge. Humor is your blade. It reminds you, not every fight needs your blood. Not every fool deserves your words. Sometimes, the strongest move is to laugh, shrug, and stay on your path. That's control. It reminds you not every battle needs fighting. Not every fool needs a response. Sometimes, the strongest move is to laugh, shake your head, and pursue your mission. That's control. That's emotional strength. So next time the world throws you a "you've got to be kidding" moment, don't erupt. Smile. You're not here to entertain their chaos. You're here to master your own calm. Respond as the man you aspire to be. How you handle it will build or break the person you're striving to become. When someone utters foolishness, acts from ego or ignorance, you have a choice. Fan the flames or forge control. Most men don't realize how easily their power slips away. Not to kings, but to clowns. You let a fool at work, a bad driver, a chatterbox at dinner pull your emotional strings like a marionette. That's not strength. It's submission masked as fury. People think the real man reacts fast, hits back hard, never yields. But the truth is, the strongest man in the room doesn't rush to respond. He chooses his reply. He doesn't lose it just because others did first. That's the Stoic shift. Deny the external world control over your internal state. You can't build muscle with one workout and expect it to last. Emotional discipline is the same. It's repetition, habit, choice. And every time you fall for the trap, every time you lose your cool or explode, you're training weakness. Now flip it. Imagine every provocation. You pose. You command the silence. You view the foolishness not with rage, but with distance. That's not apathy. It's dominance. Like stepping out of the storm while others get soaked. You become the unprovocable one, the unexplained, the steady amid the world's whirl of chaos. This isn't passivity, it's strategy. Anger may be justified, but blind rage is just noise. Are you building your character or burning it with each response? Instead of exploding, you contain. You hold firm. You decide, is this worth my energy? Does it align with the man I'm becoming? Your inner voice grows louder as you choose purposeful responses over emotional ones. In real life, this plays out in meetings, traffic, relationships. You either escalate tension or become the steady anchor. You either join the foolishness or rise above it. Picture the father walking into home chaos, kids screaming, wife stressed, phone ringing. The old you, irritable, loud, reactive. The new you, calm, composed, grounded. Because you're no longer reacting from ego, you're leading from identity. You're not just managing the moment, you're embodying mastery. Your strongest version is quiet, focused, unmoved by emotions, and it all starts with one choice. Respond as the man you want to be remembered as, not the one who crumbled under pressure. So, next time a trivial thing irks you, don't yield. Don't give it space. Hold your ground. Think of the man you're forging. Then act as if he's already in the room. Every time anger swells, life is testing your discipline. Not to punish you, but to hone you. The truth is, you won't stop getting angry overnight. But you can train your response, like a muscle. You can choose stillness over fire, clarity over chaos. The man who finds peace isn't the one who avoids stress. He's the one who faces it with control. So remember this, how you respond shapes who you become. You're not just managing emotions, you're crafting character. Emotional control isn't weakness, it's true strength. And it's forged through consistent small actions, daily awareness, clear intentions, thoughtful responses. Use what we've shared today as your training ground. Journal your triggers each day. Breathe before speaking. Ask if your impending reaction fits the man you aim to be. That's the path. That's authentic power. If this message resonates, carry it through your week. Practice it. Hone it. Own it. And if you've ever let anger win or chosen calm instead, share your story in the comments. Your growth could ignite someone else's.